And that's another story because Oliver, you just like, I'm having all these flashbacks when like, he was one of my favorite performers, and I didn't get to see him as often.
This is the intro of the tacos. This is the intro of the block. I'm trying to make it different from the other one. I promise I'll make a better intro later. This is the intro for the taco block. Thunder Rosa eating tacos.
What's that?
Whoa, what do we got here?
Who is that? Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb, Great Khan from New Japan Pro Wrestling, the United Empire, Tour of the Islands. Nobody can.
I told you I was gonna do 2 taco vlogs this week, and I'm here at Vito's Tacos somewhere in Las Vegas, and I have somebody that we were just talking about last week.
And then my favorite match outside was probably against Jeff Cobb.
He's one of the guys that I started with in the Bay Area. He's always been a big time, but now it's big time in Japan, and that is Jeff Cobb. Jeff, welcome to the Taco Vlog.
What do you mean big time? We were always big time.
I know.
But thank you for having me on the taco vlog.
Yeah, so are you gonna eat more tacos than Will Hobb? He ate 6 tacos.
6 tacos?
Can you eat 8?
I will eat 6.5.
Okay, let's go in and get some tacos.
Yeah.
Alright, if you're cool with this, I'm gonna go for Will's version. So I'm gonna go for 7.
7 cheese tacos?
Oh,
Or just the
Chicken.
chicken.
Is it chicken birria?
Chicken birria.
I don't know. I mean,
Oh,
6 of those? 7.
I gotta be something correct.
got it.
Green or red salsa?
Oh, I like green. It's great.
Alright, so we have 7 regular chicken tacos with green salsa. Anything else?
Yes, can I get 2 regular birria tacos?
Beef, right?
Yes, okay.
Green or red salsa?
Red. And Topo Chico. What do you want?
Well, alright, can we zoom in on this one? Of course. Which one do you think I'm gonna get? Okay, find out.
Yeah, how do you put one? Of course you're gonna get Welcome to the Taco Vlog. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a fun day.
Do you do anything like special when you're at home or like?
I hang out, relax. I try to just decompress a little bit because you know what it is like being, going show to show and wrestling, and even on like especially like TV days, it's like so long. And, like people are like, oh well, you didn't really. I mean, like for example, I did a run in last night, but you also got these other things you got to do too. You got to prepare, you got to stretch, so, pull something running down to the ring. It's tiring sometimes, so on my days off.
You relax. How long ago did you started wrestling? Because you went to the Olympics, right?
Right. Well, originally I wanted to be. I mean, I always wanted to be a pro wrestler. Since I was like a little niño.
You speak Spanish, huh?
Just a little bit. Been to Mexico a few times. I picked up some words.
Well, we'll talk about Mexico and their tacos in a minute.
Okay. But yeah, so I mean, I played basketball was the first sport I played, like around middle school, and then got to high school. I saw wrestling. I was like, holy cow! I'm gonna sign up for wrestling because that's always what I wanted to do. Be a pro wrestler. Showed up. It wasn't pro wrestling. It was amateur wrestling. And I got sad, but I stuck with it.
But what was it? Was that in Hawaii or?
Oh, that was in Guam.
Guam.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were born and raised in Guam?
Hawaii. I was born and raised in Hawaii.
I'm confused.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Hawaii. So my mom's side is originally from the Philippines, but they moved to Guam. So they established their life in Guam. Then my mom met my dad and got married and lived in Hawaii, and then I was born out there. As my dad's side was living in Hawaii at the time.
Are they military?
My grandfather was. That's how they ended up in Hawaii. So, oh yeah.
So a lot of your family's still in Hawaii.
My sister is.
He's a big boy.
My sister just moved there about a year or maybe 2 years ago. Right before the pandemic. So my sister's there. My dad's side, like my uncle's still there. My aunts, I have some cousins and some nieces and nephews. And then my mom's side's the Tijuana, like my mom and my brother.
So I was talking to Will Hobbs, and this is the one, he's about to break the record of who's eating the most tacos. He mentioned to you about you that the time that they met, that you guys did an angle at APW, right?
Yeah. Were you training at the time?
No, I was not.
That was before? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so I met Will March of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrestling in Hawaii at the time, and the promoter out in Hawaii.
I'm gonna keep talking right now. He's getting all the tacos. Oh. So we have all the tacos. These are his tacos. These are chicken birria, which is completely different. And I have the regular one right here.
All right. Thank you.
By the way, Carritos, sponsor me.
Carritos.
We're drinking Carritos.
You need Thunder Rosa. So we're going back to March of 2012.
These are
So my promoter, he was going on vacation in March, and he hit up some companies to say, hey, I'm going to be up in the area. Do you want to do something together? APW is the only one that replied, I guess. And 4 of us flew up. We did 3 singles matches, best 2 out of 3 wins. APW won because in the main event. In the final match to decide who's going to win, Hawaii or California, Timothy Thatcher beat me.
Timothy!
Dang that Thatcher.
Good old Timothy. I'm gonna try this thing.
I'm going to do a pause real quick and be like, look at this. Oh, here we go.
Oh my god, dude, this tacos are good.
Okay, I'm going to move that little tray to the side. Get the little line.
Okay, before we start talking about Timothy, and then we go to Will Hobbs.
Yep.
Tell me your experience. You were just mentioning about being in Mexico City.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about your experience, the tacos in Mexico
what?
City.
I don't mind like Mexico. Like people are like, oh, they're scared to go there, but I've gone to Tijuana many a times. I've done Mexico City. Your fellow AEW teammate or coworker Phoenix or Ray Phoenix booked me on a show, a small indie show in Mexico City. So strange. The hardest ring I've ever felt before.
I've said this before.
Yeah, Juventud Guerrero gave me a frog splash, and there was no give in that ring,
Oh my god.
and I about duty my pants. But I didn't.
But after the 7 tacos, he's about to Japan, and I said it.
I might. All right, here we go.
Let me see. I want to see you. Ooh. Are you pretty good with spice? So is it?
What some people do. What do they got in Mexico? Nothing?
You lick your fingers?
Oh, okay. There it is, baby.
And no sour tacos.
Right. Time out real quick. So you were born and raised
In Tijuana.
right?
Mhm.
Okay. How do these compare? Pretty good?
Like, well, the one that I'm eating is authentic. Like,
Okay.
it's f***ing good.
Okay. Let me ask you a question about Tijuana then.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I've ever gone to Tijuana,
Yep.
I've gone with Willie Mac for the most part.
Don't tell me you're being in Hong Kong.
No. And the promoter always takes us to the spot before the show. It's a taco spot. And they have this thing that I found out it's only in Tijuana. It's a banana water?
No, with plátano.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why is that not all over Mexico? Why is that not worldwide? That sucker is amazing.
Because I think a lot of people do the agua de plátano with leftover like bananas when they're really, really dark. My mom used to do that. I don't know. That's a really good question. I didn't know that it's only in Tijuana.
So I asked guys do you mind if I name guys from other companies?
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
So I asked guys like Mr. Iguana.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Tijuana. Shout out to Tijuana. That's my homie.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is only in Tijuana.
No, he travels all over the country in Mexico, so
Yeah.
he probably knows more than I do.
But I couldn't understand it. I asked him why. He didn't have an answer.
So when you went to Mexico City, where they had agua de plátano?
No.
No?
When I went to Mexico City, thank you. I just walked through the same taco shop.
Do you remember what was it called?
No, it was a cart. A street taco.
What, the sweaty ones? Tacos de canasta, cabrones. Like, I have not been able to find tacos de canasta here in the United States. Aren't they good? Greasy?
Listen, I'm not gonna count my calories while I'm there. I just want to get some good food.
How many times did you eat over there?
I ate four like. I wouldn't go down. I go to like maybe 11 o'clock, like an early lunch kind of thing. I would eat 4 tacos. Then I come back to the room. Then they come pick us up around 5.
Yes.
So I go back and get more tacos before the show. Then we got picked up. Then went to Reno, Mexico for the show. Came back. They were closed already, but Atlantis Junior. Thank you. Shout out for taking care of myself and the TJP. But yeah, he would take us out to like a good dark spot. As well.
Another dark
like
spot.
Actual like a proper restaurant kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
It was good too. But like I don't know, there's something about those. I mean, is it alright to call it like street tacos? Okay, so whatever. I don't know. Like street tacos just have this taste and flavor. Like I feel like they put their love and heart into this. Like I feel like like McDonald's. It's just like put the fries in, whatever. But like they're putting their stuff in and they're working and they're giving you these tacos. It's great. So good.
So what were the tacos? Was it chicken, potato, beans,
pastor?
pastor?
I had 2 of those and then two pollo.
He likes his pollo. He was just
I
telling
do,
me
I
he
do.
really likes his pollo.
Like I don't mind like carne asada, but like I feel like for a taco, I want something that's a little bit softer, like a chicken. Or
Is that chicken dry?
no,
It's perfect, right?
wonderful, yeah. I can't get my chicken like this.
No, because so Will has some. The chicken that he had was different. It wasn't birria, but it was a little bit drier in the drier side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This one's, I mean, look at all this juice.
Yeah,
down
it's
here.
I murder them. I only have to what I murder them.
I would give you one, but I have to beat Will Hobbs. So
Is it spicy? No.
well,
No, it's not spicy at all.
that's a good taste.
It has a little kick, but it's not spicy. So, talking about tacos, talking about how many times have you been in Mexico City?
Maybe 6 or 7 times.
With New Japan?
No. The first time I went to proper Mexico City was AAA.
Okay.
For some reason, they put me under a map.
I wonder why. We'll talk about Lucha Underground in a second.
We'll talk about that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know they want to see that because
Yes.
they're like, hey, you look like that one girl that wrestled at Lucha Underground. They can't tell me, but you definitely look like that one.
Yes. So we'll talk about that. But I said you went with AAA. They put you on a mask.
Yep. I went with AAA twice, I believe. And then I also went twice on 2 random indies. I also went on one that was like a AAA / independent, like a collaboration. That was the same one that when DJZ had to get emergency rush or what's his name in NXT now, but DJZ.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So when he after the match he collapsed and they had to rush to the hospital and then they had surgery, like emergency surgery. DJZ. But yeah, so that was weird. That was scary. And then I've gone with CMLL, so pretty much all the main companies in Mexico, I guess.
He's famous, guys. He's famous. So he started.
They just think I'm somebody else.
So he started in Hawaii. Then he does his debut in the Bay Area. You were defeated by Timothy Thatcher. Tell us more about Timothy, because I know you guys were homies, and you guys still homies, right?
We are. The last time I saw him in person was right before the pandemic.
Yes.
He came to Vegas, actually. I took him out to a place called Heart Attack Grill. It was awesome. And, we just caught up a little bit. Shot a bit. And then he went out to Orlando to make the big bucks. But we keep in contact, random, like, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. Catch up. What's going on? What's new? Kind of thing. And
So tell the people that don't know a lot about you, like how the Bay Area was like so pivotal for your career and how that helped you launch yourself and your brand.
It was because at the time I was just living in Hawaii, working at a school job and working as a personal trainer, and then just drinking and partying on the weekends.
You were super young, right? When you were like being a professional wrestler?
No, I'm 27.
You're 39 right now, right?
Yeah, so I started when I was 27.
Like boomer like me.
Oh my God, I'm dating myself here. No, but yeah, I did that. I was just in Hawaii, and I was just in this I was happy, you know, like wrestling once a month. But I was like, nah, I need more. And then because of that, that match with Thatcher, I met John LaRocca.
LaRocca was a humongous fan of this guy for Premier. It was a Premier Wrestling, right? And what was it?
Gilroy.
It was a Garlic, California.
Wait, it was Garlic, California, because you could drive. There's times like we did APW shows at the at a base or something,
Yes.
and then we had to drive through Gilroy
And smell like-
and even on the freeway or the highway, you could smell
Smell.
garlic, which is
Yes.
so weird.
Yes.
But yeah, so yeah, John, I saw him in March.
Yeah.
And then he convinced Roland Alexander to book me for the Young Lions Cup. That was happening in May. And I said, heck yeah. So I came up, I won the tournament, and I went out to dinner with John after the show. And he pretty much just said, I have to get out of Hawaii if I wanted to make it. So from May until December of 2012, I saved up all my money, with the exceptions of going out and partying. But
Of course.
I saved my money,
Of course.
save my money. And then John actually got me to move to Sacramento, California,
Mhm.
or Folsom, California specifically, to train with Oliver John.
And that's another story because Oliver, you just like, I'm having all these flashbacks when like,
It's
he was,
crazy, huh?
it was one of my favorite performers, and I didn't get to see him as often because by the time I was already wrestling, he retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on his way out. But you and him had some of the. It was you and him, you and fucking Timothy Thatcher had some of the most awesome matches I remember watching because you were very technical. You're a powerhouse, like very explosive. I mean, some of the stuff that this motherfucker does, like I'm just gonna tell you, like it's unbelievable. Like, were you a power lifter too?
No, I never really got into powerlifting until like I'd say maybe 2009, 10.
Or you think that the reason why you were so strong
It
is
was from
because
amateur
of
wrestling.
amateur
Yeah,
wrestling?
amateur wrestling. Because like you have to be explosive and all that fun stuff. So that's what I did.
He still is explosive. But let's talk about Oliver John.
Yeah,
Like,
Oliver John, old school Oliver John. I want to give a shout out to him. I don't want to say his real last name because I want to give him every credit I can. I definitely owe a lot of my career to him, and whenever I do stuff like this, which isn't that often, but when I do,
mhm.
either for very good people, so I don't.
We've
mind-
known each
I
other
don't-
for a while now.
So I don't mind hanging out with her and doing this for her. But yes, I want to give Oliver John, or I think his last name is Steinwalt or something like that.
Steinwald.
But if you want Google Oliver John, old school Oliver John. I definitely give him all the credit because he, for about 4.5 years when I was wrestling in Hawaii, the way I was wrestling was always like I would throw in a Styles Clash in the middle of the match, and that's like a finisher for some people.
Yes.
So it was basically spots after spots after spots. And then when I moved to Sacramento to train with Ollie, he's like, all right, you do too much spots. And I was like, oh. So he pretty much took me and made me start from the beginning again and just said, there's a reason why we're wrestling. There's a reason for wrestling. There's storytelling. There's a story to be told. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Why is Jeff doing a Styles Clash in the middle of the match? And why is Jeff doing dives at the beginning of the match? There's no point. So he definitely, I don't know, from a technological standpoint, he rewrote my code or whatever. And I give him all the props in the world because he definitely helped me, and it's still influenced to this day.
So if you see how Oliver taught you that lesson of, wrestling, and where he tells you like everything has a story and it has a why. What was your why when you besides knowing that you needed to get out to make it? What was your why to come to
Oh
California?
no, my why to come to California was to train with him. But I meant more like why you do certain things in a match.
No, I know. I'm just saying the relationship in wrestling and life is kind of like the same, right? You have to have a why. You just don't do shit just to do stuff, So for you, was purely to move to California to train with him, or you had a feeling like I'm gonna make it?
Well, I knew I was okay. At the time, I was like, oh, I'm alright. But then, like looking back, I was alright. Thought I was good for Hawaii.
Yeah.
So,
Were you scared?
Oh yeah. I had no family in California that I knew of, like super distant that I've never kept in contact with. So, yeah, it's very scary to go back to California. Like, no friends, no house, no nothing. And I was just screw it, I'm gonna do it. And some people complain about driving an hour to a seminar. I moved from Hawaii to California. You know how hard it is to leave Hawaii? Oh my God. Google Hawaii beaches, why don't you? But yeah, so, I mean, like, once you get, like, what is the saying? Comfort is the, I got on the quote right now.
I think comfort is, I think it's the worst enemy of for success.
Yeah. And so you can't be comfortable where you're at. And I was comfortable in Hawaii, but I wanted to get better. And I moved to Sacramento to train with somebody that was way better than me, way smarter than me at what I wanted to do as a living. And it definitely helped me along the way.
I think I still have, or no, I donated it, but I had one of their T-shirts that I bought at when I was a fan in Sacramento in SPW.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
Whatever. Like, no, remember you were like somebody was they sponsor you and they used to give you T-shirts. I used to have those T-shirts. This guy was really good with his merchandise when he first started. Like, he always had merchandise because he knows that's like sometimes that's like how we made most of our money. You know.
When I first moved to California, a lot of companies didn't want to use me. I'm not going to name any names because it's not a trash talking thing, not trash talking vlog. I just want to be positive.
I mean, you can if you want.
The only companies that really used me when I first moved there was SPW. SPW and Laraco just got out of APW, but he was starting at Premier.
Yeah.
So I had that in line, which it took a couple months to get started.
Yeah.
Yeah, SPW and Premier were like the main ones that I was going to work for, and then slowly but surely the ball was rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I first started, I made like $0 or $10 a match. Like I remember my first match, I made $10. I was like, "This is dope." But which is fine because I see a lot of people complain about know your worth and all that, and I totally agree. You know your worth, but I feel to an extent.
Yes.
Like, I don't think if you've been training for 2 years and then you've wrestled a handful of matches and you think you're good, that you should be like, hey, you know what? I want $100. Well, no offense, but I wrestled for about 2.5 years, making $0 to $20.
Yes.
Because I knew that at that moment, I'm not worth $50 or $75 or $100. Because, yeah, I can ask for $100, but me asking for $100 and I'm not even helping the company draw because I'm not that good yet, I don't think you should be out people just complain too much. And you just close your mouth and just do the work. Your talent will showcase over anything. And then you can get the money.
So
it's an end game. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon.
So to say, Jeff and I, we broke a lot of rings together. We put a lot of rings together.
Ugh.
We did a lot of seminars before our shows. Remember that? Which is like the only training that we got sometimes. And we definitely ate a lot of tacos many times before.
I ate a lot of hot dogs.
Yeah. We're gonna shake head check, like legit. So you come and do FPW, you take over like all the area, California area. Then you start getting really hot. Then Lucha Underground knocks on the door, but they didn't want you.
They wanted me, just not me.
Exactly. It's just like what happened with me. They put a mask on and you wear matanza.
Allegedly, but yeah. I was so nervous because I've never wrestled in a mask before.
And that was a vinyl mask.
And I couldn't breathe.
Yes.
And I don't know how, I guess luchadors, they start when they're young wearing a mask.
Yeah.
So they get used to it, I guess, right? But man, I was like...
No, his mask was weird because it was completely covered. It was vinyl. I wrestled with a mask too, and the mask that I had was too big for my head. So when I did my debut, my mask was moving. I couldn't see. Do you remember when you wrestled, like the first match that you had there?
Oh yeah. It's kind of hard not to remember the first match I wrestled with the mask, because that I won the championship on my debut match in the mask.
Wow.
I had to beat 11 guys, and the final guy I beat was the great Rey Mysterio Jr. We were final two in that. What is that called? The Aztec Warfare?
Yeah,
or whatever?
Aztec Warfare. But that is to say, I mean, let me just put it this way. This newbie that never wrestled with a mask comes in and the producers tell Rey Mysterio, "Hey Rey, you're putting this man over. Make him look like $1 million." What did Rey do?
Made me look like $2 million.
That tells you guys, and for all of you guys that are watching and you want to be professional wrestlers and you think that you're all that, Rey Mysterio put this guy over.
I know. Who am I? That's a true professional. Rey Mysterio, he could have just been like, no, I'm not putting him over. But no, Rey Mysterio is the man. He's dope as hell. I'm going to give you a shout out. And even Dominic, too. Dominic, man. I remember I met, going out the little story, but when they started coming around, and I was always programmed with them for a little bit. And then he's like, oh, yeah, I want to introduce you. This is Dominic. And I was like, holy cow.
Big Dominic. Shout out to Big Dominic.
I remember watching Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero have a match for Dominic. And then flash forward to see Dominic.
18-year-old, 6 feet tall, right?
Gosh. It was just so cool. I was like, oh. And then I had to wake myself up and like, oh, yeah, I'm wrestling Rey Mysterio Jr. So.
No, it was incredible. Like, for me, experiencing that to watching them, because I was very, very green myself. Working with Rey Mysterio was definitely one of those things that I was like really blessed, because he's a genius of professional wrestling, because he's like the ultimate baby face, because he's small, he flies, and he's a very kind person. Yeah. I don't think there's been one person that has something negative to say about him. No.
And if they do, they're liars.
But that's what I'm saying. So he went and did this. Oh my God. So he was like dominating and Lucha Underground. And I remember it was this match for Ultima Lucha. And you dumbass went and did this bunch on this window that was not like plexiglass. And he opened his wrist. I remember you were bleeding profusely.
Yeah.
It was craziest things.
So I was wrestling Dragon Azteca Jr., or as some people call him, Rey Horus.
Rey Horus.
What up, Rey? And you remember the stairs that go up?
Yes, I do remember.
All the panels of glass?
Yes, I remember.
I was thinking, you know what? Wouldn't it be cool if I went for a punch and he moved and I just went straight through glass?
Did you tell production you were gonna do that?
No, okay, this is where I messed up. When the incident happened, everybody shit on Lucha Underground, which isn't fair, because it was my fault. Because I could have, I thought of that as I got to the arena. They didn't have time to change it to sugar glass, which even if they did, there was 80
panels.
So I'm like, I couldn't remember which one's which. So I was like, you know what? I actually just watched Karate Kid a few days prior to that, and I was like, oh yeah, that dude punched through a car window. And I was like, dude,
it's a movie.
Okay, well, this is how, it was, whatever. But anywho, so we do it. I go, wham. And I was like, ow, that kind of hurt. I pulled out, and I was like, there's a little blood. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, oh, that kind of hurt a little bit. Then I look over, and then I see Marty, the ref, he was there. He's like, and all I see on his face is this. And I was like, what happened? I looked down. This sucker was squirting.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
And I was like, so I covered it, and I was like, okay, it'll stop bleeding. And then Dragon Azteca was like, next spot. And I was like, okay. So I moved my hand to do the next spot, and it just went. And I was like, oh, shit. And then Marty, being the ref that he is, just said, he stopped it. He grabbed me, and he ran me out that back way, through there, down the stairs, all the way around. and then into the arms of the medical staff that was waiting for me. All this time, mind you, Rey Mysterio was supposed to come out from the upstairs room to come beat me up, and nobody told him what was going on. So he was just standing in that room waiting and waiting and waiting, and I felt so bad.
He was already in the hospital. The hospital was like 2 blocks from there.
But then the cool thing about it is you can tell who's a real pro.
Yeah.
Because they sent out John Morrison and PJ Black.
Mhm.
I think they're called Worldwide Underground or something.
Yes,
at the
yes.
time. Send them out there to make the fans hate them. And then Rey Mysterio came out and gave both of them 619s. Those are true professionals that they can hit the fan, pardon my French, but they can cover it up and ad-lib and improvise on the spot. Because there was no communication. So Ray was stuck in that room trying to figure out what's going on. And yeah. But I survived. I was out for a month. And I came back and we did the match again without
They went out the glass.
without the glass spot.
Oh my god. He ate 7 tacos. So Will Hobbs. June, I think he will be coming back to America. And he wants to do. So just tell people what you want to do with Hobbs.
What I want to do with Will Hobbs? Well, I mean, I already embarrassed him on the taco scene. I think on your last vlog with him, he was talking about one of his fun matches that he's had with myself. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it again on TV.
He wants to fight you on TV, and he wants to eat to see who's gonna eat more tacos.
You see that? This is a microphone. Dropping it.